fellow artists, and welcome back to Art at Home with Mrs. Kellogg. Well, spring is here, and that makes me think of tadpoles and small frogs. So I thought it would be really fun to create some frog-inspired art. So meet me over at my workspace because I'm going to tell you more about the art lesson and the art supplies you will need. Here are some examples of the artwork we're going to create for our frog-inspired art lesson today. And as you can see, we're going to have lots of fun because I'm going to show you how to stack your frogs. Now let me tell you the art supplies you will need for today's art project. You're going to need paper, and the size is up to you. Make sure though that the paper is thick enough to apply watercolor to. You're going to need a pencil with an eraser. I'm going to be using a black ultra thin Sharpie marker to trace all my lines and shapes. But if you don't have that, you can use a black colored pencil. And I am going to use colored pencils for this project. Now I'm going to paint the background, so I'm going to need my watercolor set. I'm going to need a paintbrush, a paper towel, and a cup filled with water. And one thing I don't want to forget is to put down my art mat or newspaper before I start my art project. Those are the art materials you will need for today's project. Now would be a great time for you to pause the video, set up your workspace, and gather your art supplies, and then meet me back here and we'll start creating some fun frog-inspired art. Did you get your art supplies and set up your workspace? Great, then let's get started. So we're going to start by using the elements of our line and shape to draw our 3 stacked frogs. So I'm going to start with a pencil, and I'll also be using an eraser for this part. And the first frog that I'm going to start with is the bottom frog. And that frog is closest to me, so it's going to be larger. Then I'll draw the frog above that, and the one that's going to be the smallest is the one that's furthest away at the top. So my first step is to figure how big I want this frog. So I'm going to sketch a line here for where the feet would go, and then this would be for the top of the head. So now I'm going to start with my rainbow line for the top of the head, another rainbow line for the eyes, and then for the rest of the face, I'm going to angle out like I'm almost starting to draw a trapezoid. And then I'm going to curve. So I'm going to round the corners here and then curve back and forth. Okay, so that looks pretty good. Now I'm going to put a line like so and finish drawing in the eyes. Another rainbow line. And then I'm going to shade ovals or circles in for the eyes. Now I'm sketching in the beginning, so I may change some of these lines or shapes after I get all of the big shapes in. Okay, so my next step is placing the feet. That's a pretty good size body. So I'm going to put one line here and then another line over here. So I'm just sketching those in for where I'll place the feet. And because those feet are closest to me, I want them pretty big. So notice I'm making this long line. So I'm going to think of shape. So when I think of frog's feet, it's a backwards triangle. And then the leg is going to be a skinny rectangle. Haven't drawn the body yet. I want to place the other legs. I'm going to set one foot back here for this foot, and then I'm going to set another one back here. And again, I can adjust and change these as I'm working. Backwards triangle, backwards triangle. Part of the body. I'm going to stop there because what I want to do is make these big diagonal rainbow lines to make the frog look like it's got big long legs. I'm going to start about here, and I'm going to sketch, and I'm going to come up pretty high, and I'm going to use a nice long curvy line and attach it to these feet. So see how I'm
making that look like it's attached. And then all I do is have to curve this line back in here. The higher I make that rainbow line, the longer the leg. So keep adjusting your lines, and this line will go across. Then I'm going to take my eraser and I'm going to get rid of all the lines that I don't need. Now for some more detail. If you want, you could put little nostril holes in, but you'll notice not all my frogs have that. Now my next step is I want to put the bottom part of the mouth in. So you could leave it like this. If you want to put a bottom part of the mouth, think of a half oval or circle. And then for the toes. So I want to make it look like the frog has webbed feet. So what I'm going to do is I've got a little triangle right there. I'm going to make a rainbow line into another triangle, rainbow line into another triangle, and then erase all the lines I don't need. And I'm going to do that on all the feet. Now if you want to put little circles on the toes, you can to make it like a rain tree frog, but that's up to you. Put this line in front so that foot looks like it's in front of the body. Just by moving a line, I can change the look. So I have my big shapes in. Now my next step is to draw my next frog. I'm going to do that a little bit different because it's stacked. So I like the idea of tilting, one frog going this way, one frog going that way. So I'm going to start with an oval first. And again, I'm going to sketch and draw lightly. Okay, so that's the body, and I'm going to draw the head right here. So I'm going to come up a little bit above that line. It's almost like a little bit of a rainbow line. And then rainbow line. And I'm going to draw the head the same way I did before. Trapezoid. And then I'm going to curve this here. Now the difference is I drew through that oval or circle. So that means I want to erase the lines out that I don't need. So I want the head to look like it's in front, so I'm going to get rid of that line. And the frog's body, I want to curve it a little bit. And I'm going to draw the legs the same way. I'm going to come from here and go up pretty high and curve down. And then this one, I want to do the same. And I might see a toe or two there. Now I'm going to add some detail. Now for my last frog. So I'm going to draw the top frog just like I drew this one, except I'm not going to put the legs in. So you notice I'm going to have the body angling this way, and the body's going to be smaller than this one. And that means I've got to make that head pretty small. I'm going to erase the line, and now I'm going to add the detail. I'm going to have this frog looking to the side. Now I want a tongue coming out of this frog, so I'm going to come to the side, draw a curved line, and then a skinny oval going back. And for this frog, I also want the bottom of the mouth. So that means I'm going to erase any lines that are in the way. Now I'm going to make a dragonfly. Oval, oval, curved oval going this way, and I want to put a grounding line in. Now I've finished drawing my 3 stacked frogs. I'm going to finish designing and tracing my frogs. So what I would recommend doing now is pausing the video, draw your frogs, add design work if you'd like, and then trace all your shapes and lines and meet me back here and we'll start adding some color. Did you finish drawing and tracing your frogs? Then let's have fun adding some color. Now remember, the color choice is up to you, but there's a few things I want you to remember. One is a really important element of art, that idea of value, taking darker colors and putting them next to lighter colors. That will help your shapes really stand out. So that light color next to a dark color is going to create a lot of contrast, which makes me think about those important principles of design: repetition, repeating your colors, and contrast. And we do that with value. We could do it with size or color difference. Now I'm going to continue adding color to my frogs and then creating a watercolor background. Now it's your turn to add color to your frogs and then have fun using watercolor to paint in the background. Well, that wraps up our frog-inspired art lesson. I hope you enjoyed the lesson, and I want you to remember, when you are creating art, to relax, have lots of fun, and keep creating.